welcome to year 2 review of results, and we have net profits here have increased quite a bit, which they should as the market increases. So we have, if we see the highest income last year was 57 million and 54 million. So this year we have a number of teams who've surpassed 70 million, with WH Auto earning $77.6 million. So we have a number of other teams that also passed that 70 million mark, which is great for round 2, year 2. Now, as far as points per team, we have a team here. They, if we look at this team here, Song Motors, 1,000 points, which is incredible for, last round they didn't do so well. They underperformed at 288 points. In this round, they came back at 1,000 points. And that's what's great about the simulation. If you have a round where you don't do well, since year-over-year percentage increase is what the points are based on, you can easily make up those lost points the following round. And you can see that here with Tela Motors was able to make a huge comeback from last round to this round. But it's hard, though, when you have a very good round like Auto X did, had a very excellent round 1. Now you're competing against your own scores for the next round, so it's hard to get very high points every round. But remember, you're shooting for an average of about 400 points a round, so keep that in mind. In most teams here, no one lost points, which is good. Some teams came in at a very low amount of points, which is not ideal. But you can, like I said before, if you do well next round, you can make up a lot of those lost points. And we look at stock price. We have a couple teams down here which haven't been able to break $20 mark, and we have a few teams up here who are in the $30 mark. And we see that the teams with the highest amount of profits always also have a pretty high stock price. In sales, we still have over here still the same company, number 1 in total sales, but we have a couple changeovers. You see here some companies moved up quite a bit in sales as they reevaluated. You see last place here is now, and this is one of the reasons they had so many great points. They're really able to sharply increase all their results based on the sharper focus in their inputs for year 2. We have a new leader in earnings per share for round 2, and these are the companies that are doing the best. So if you want to research any companies in the industry report to see how they did it, these are the companies to look up, because these are the best performing companies in earnings per share. And you can see that these companies down here are underperforming in earnings per share, but some of them have made, like this company, has made an impressive results, but they still have a way to go to get into the top part of the pack for earnings per share. Okay. So let's look at, so like I said before, here are the total points per team for this round. We had one team scoring over 700, one team scoring over 1,000, and most everybody is close to 400. The teams here who are below 300 need to focus a little bit harder next round to improve that. And we have a number of teams entering in the 50% percentile for gross profit margin. Most teams are still in the 40% or higher. Any team below 40%, there's only one, has to, you're really destroying profit margins from where you started and you haven't made any improvements. That's why you're underperforming. So you have to really focus on profit margins there. If we look at cumulative total points, we see that most teams are above 1,000 points. You should be above 800 points to keep on track with the full grade for the simulation. Most teams are, but the teams below 700 points need to focus in a little bit more on getting those scores up. Okay. So let's look at, I'm going to go into a particular company and poke around a little bit. So here's a team where the student running this team has dropped the class. So I'm just going to show you, since they're no longer in the class, I'm just going to move forward with what their results are for these 2 rounds. Okay, so overview, we see that their revenues are flat. Their the quick ratio and debit ratio have not improved. Profit margin is actually pretty flat as well. and you see no real improvement in any of the categories. Did have a surplus, so they had earned 200 points this round, and the addition of last round's points brings them to the cumulative 931 points. Those cumulative points adds up your points as you move forward in the simulation. So if this person was still in the class, I would tell them go to your assessment tab and review where your star ratings, and you can see your score, your percentile rank, and some suggestions on how to improve this. So for each of the categories, you get this ranking where you can look at and which will help you to understand where you can improve. I would tell them to look at their chart, specifically the team performance chart, to see their sales, and they can see that they're undersold on their sedans and also greatly undersold on their luxury compared to the demand. They only sold 1,500. They could have sold 1,800. I would ask them to check out the top teams in the industry to see what the best teams did last year as far as how they designed their cars and their scores and their points. And then they would go back into sales, and I would say, when you're designing your vehicle, make sure that your profit margins increase. So when you're looking at your vehicles, you may want to try to redesign. Here I'm just going to say, let's increase the price for right now, and then increase the forecast. So for each of these, I'd say one area where they can easily increase profits is by increasing their price, because they're already at a pretty low end of where they can go. And since the profit margins here, maybe we can pull some of these up a little bit. Okay. Now for each of these cars, before they actually do the final sales forecast, I would say, as I showed before, go into the student manual, which gives you a average potential sales for each of the years. So we're in year 3. So this gives you an idea of how much each car could sell on average. So you have to figure out, is your car better or worse than average? So I'd be working off these year 3 numbers here. So I think I'm going to come in a little lower on this one. I'm going to move this to 4,000, and for truck, again, this up. So this is the forecasts are greatly under forecasted, and I've readjusted the features of the car to try to make the best mix that will increase sales, it increase profit margins as best as possible. So here I have the profit margins are really not improving much, so I'm going to raise the price to get those higher profit margins. So my advice for doing the sales of round 3 is make sure you redesign your car that will help you to sell as many cars as possible. So here maybe I want to increase this so it's a little bit more attractive, but that will lower my profit margin. But it's sort of a balancing game between making a car attractive at a price you can sell at and selling a forecast close to what demand would be for each of the vehicles. So I've done that for all these cars. You can see I'm greatly increasing the sales forecast because this company had undersold or under forecasted the amount of cars they were going to sell. Okay, so I'm getting a warning here on sedan. What was the warning again? Safety features for sedan. Safety features. Okay, so put that to, well, yeah, I should definitely increase this to say 50 to at least 60. Okay. Okay, now moving into the marketing area, I would say that to reassess, again, using the student user guide, the marketing percentages as far as what's effective, and redistribute the money. See, some money was not spent in some categories here, which probably affected it. So give me a minute. I'm going to redo the marketing and move into production. Okay, so now I'm in production. I don't need to buy. I don't need to buy 2 new production plants. So I'm going to put that down to 0 because I have enough capacity here to meet. So I'm not going to buy new production plants if I don't need them. However, I am going to spend money and try to increase my operational investments, because in the assessment tab, it said I had underfunded my operational investments. So I'm going to put some money in that area. Again, I don't need to buy that many production plants, so I'm going to adjust this to what I actually need and increase my operational investments. Because this is what, if you don't reinvest in your company, you can't get improved profit margins and improve reliability in your vehicles. Okay, so this one seems good. So I don't need to buy. I have one plant is good here. And I'm just going to put it level 4 for right now. And if I have a big deficit, I'll have to adjust this later. Okay, here, yes, I need to buy 1 production plant. At the 3. And I might not be able to afford all of these operational investments, but let's see how we do on the finance page when we get to there. Okay, so on the finance page, I'm $10 million short of what I need. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to actually, I think I'll go back into production and I'll scale back on a little bit of these new operational. Save some money there. Go back into finance. And now I have only $2 million deficit, so I'm going to fund it. I'm going to raise some money here in my capital budget. I'm going to put some money in. So I'm going to raise 15 million. So I have a little cushion of a surplus there, 12 million, and I'm going to complete the round. So I can go back in at the time to review the round and change things if I want to. I'm going to leave it at that. So that would be my example of how to kind of progress in year 3, to look at where you are, try to make some improvements. And remember, you want to increase your profit margins, you want to increase your sales, and you want to control your costs to make sure that your car is going to be competitive, but you also want to spend money in operational investments to move your company along further. So let's hope that this company can improve in their points next round based on these changes. Okay, so that's my quick review video of round 2. Now remember, you have round 3 is coming up, is going to be due soon. So if I go into the game, let's see here, I can view the scheduled processing, and it's on the 14th at 11:45 p.m. is round 3 is going to be processed. So make a note of that. You don't want to forget that, so get that processed. And good luck on the next round. We have 4 rounds left to get you to the points you need to get the full points for this project. Okay, thank you for your time and good luck.